Welcome back, Truth Seeker. As is the case with every last psychological operation pulled off on the unknowing masses, they are loaded with jokes. And we've covered a lot of the jokes about the supposed killing of Nicole Good, or is it Renee Nicole Good, the poet who wrote about dissecting pigs, who was killed on Portland Avenue days before the next federal agent shooting was in Portland, Oregon. And we're making that point over and over about Portland Avenue and how the longest George Floyd protest was in Portland. Anyway, new information that came to us at the end of the live stream, and we caught a little bit of this in real time, but I looked at it more carefully. More important information is that Vanilla Ice had just performed Ice Ice Baby at Mar-A-Lago for Trump's New Year's Eve party. And again, this thing that we talk about, this Kabbalistic practice. Remember Donald Trump, he wrote about how when he was a youngster, he had a Kabbalah teacher, but this Kabbalistic practice of letters and numbers and dates, how it really helps expose what is not coincidence. Somebody might look at that and be like, maybe that's a coincidence. Ice Ice Baby right before the ICE agent shooting. Yeah, maybe not. And probably definitely not, as we're about to get to. So we're going to talk more about that. And we're also going to look at this dinosaur in the background. I noticed in a lot of these media shots, you can see this big dinosaur. It looks like it's right out of Jurassic Park. Funny enough, Jurassic Park came out in 93, Minneapolis on the 93rd Meridian. The Battle of Mogadishu was in 93. A lot of Somali refugees went to the 93rd Meridian in Minneapolis in 93. And you know about Vanilla Ice? He's from Dallas, even though he claims Miami. And of course, the college football championship about to be in Miami with the Miami Hurricanes in it. And remember when Vanilla Ice was dancing all over the screen in his music video for Ice Ice Baby, he has the Miami Hurricanes sweatshirt on through the whole thing. But anyway, Vanilla Ice is actually from Dallas. It makes you think of Michael Irvin, the Hurricane who played in Dallas. But all the Minnesota people know what's up when I say Dallas, because, of course, in 93, that's when Minnesota lost their hockey team, the North Stars, who became the Dallas Stars. Again, this entire world of psychological operations, news and sports, it's all connected together. For all you people out there that think I'm off my rocker, again, you guys are morons. We're nailing futures year after year, panning our pockets, taking advantage of this rigged system and laughing all the way to the bank while you guys cry tears into your pillow because you got taken by the PSYOP. So realize the people with the real mental problems are the ones still watching the news and believing a word of what they've seen. And for the person who just posted, oh yeah, they just put out a new video that shows they killed her. No, they didn't. Are you guys retarded? There's no proof anywhere in that video that she was killed. And what I do find interesting is, doesn't she look a lot like Miss Piggy in light of writing poems about dissecting pigs? I mean, if I was going to vision the human version of Miss Piggy, she would look a lot like that. This pig dissector, supposedly smoked by the pigs. Anyway, well, we'll come to that too, but I get tired of you guys' dumb comments. Oh, now what? They got out the new 47-second clip. You guys don't even get the jokes, as I got a license plate in the background that says, what is 47? It's the number of the PSYOP masters. But yeah, if you guys want to go on YouTube, there's all kinds of shorts of everybody getting down to Ice Ice Baby, including Christi Noem at the Mar-A-Lago New Year's Eve party. Christi Noem was really feeling it. Even Steve Miller was rapping to it. It's just unbelievable. I wish Vanilla Ice would have been dancing on stage, though, like he was in his 20s when the song came out. That would have really been a hit. But look at this, you guys. Look at the ritualism here. I mean, am I not a broken record talking about the CIA and the psychological operations and 68 and over and over and over? The best one ever is when they crumbled the towers that look like a massive 11 in the 11th state on the 11th of the month. After flight AA-11, 11 years to the day of that CIA, former 11th head of the CIA, I should say, who started working at the CIA back in 68. Talking about Papa Bush, 11 years to the day, September 11th, 1990, when he talked about the new world order that will be realized, free or tear. And of course, in 68, his son graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones, and he was the president when those buildings came down in the massive 11 ritual. But Yeah, 1968, it's the year that everything goes back to. World Trade Center construction, 911 being made the national emergency dialing code, 2001 A Space Odyssey coming out, fentanyl being approved, coronavirus being coined, on and on and on. Look at this, you guys. From Vanilla Ice's birthday. Notice he was born just right before 68, too, on Halloween. But from his birthday to the ICE agent assassination, 68 days, like Mar-a-Lago, like CIA, like Jonathan David Ross, the CIA or the ICE agent assassin, like Donald John Trump, like The Apprentice. And again, the end of the song for Ice Ice Baby, ready for the chumps on the wall. I mean, tell me that doesn't remind you of Trump right there. Ready for the chumps on the wall. The chumps acting ill because they're full of 8-ball. I'm sure Trump's done some coke in his time. You know, they call coke snow. Ice Ice Baby. They were in icy, snowy Minneapolis, one of the coldest cities in America, for this ice ritual in the dead of winter. Gunshots ranged out like a bell. Okay, we've seen the video. Okay, that's part of it. I grabbed my 9 and all I heard were shells. ICE agents do carry 9mm, just like cops. Falling on the concrete real fast. Well, they said the ICE agent was drugged and got 33 stitches, just like the shooting was between 33rd and 34th Street on Portland Avenue before we get a shooting in Portland by the feds. And they say the male who was shot was 33 years old in the 33rd state, Oregon. Jumped in my car, slammed on the gas. Is that the little part that reminds us there of Renee Nicole Good? Bumper to bumper, because she crashed into another car. The avenue's packed. And people should take notice that there was a video out for this right away, because you've heard about all these stories over the years from the feds and authorities where there's no proof it ever happened, no video, and it's always mind-blowing because it's like, really, that happened and nobody recorded it in the age when everybody has a camera in their pocket? But notice they had it right away for George Floyd and this, which they've compared. It's like when the Alton Sterling and Philando Castile things happened. One of those was in Minnesota as well, the other in Louisiana. That was on video. Both of those were viral stories at the same time in the news. Alton Sterling's uncle was in the news with his Masonic pin over and over. But yeah, there were just a whole bunch of Karens on the block here. And by the way, the new footage shows her with their window down with their dog in the back. And doesn't it remind you of the whole Karen thing? Because didn't that Karen thing really jump off around the same time as George Floyd? Wasn't it mostly over the white woman who called the police on the black man who was bird watching while she choked her dog? Isn't that how that whole Karen thing started? Remember, that was on Memorial Day. That was our national news story for Memorial Day, the racist white woman in Central Park in New York. And supposedly that was the day George Floyd was killed, but we didn't hear about the George Floyd story until the next day, May 26th, when the cell phone footage came out. This guy, Floyd, getting killed by the park police, getting choked out after the dog got choked out the day before. And it's interesting how dog has that Gematria 26, and here we are in 2026, and they got to get the dog. If you haven't seen the new footage, they first start on the other side of her car with her back window down and her dog's head's out the window. So that's how the video begins. No word on what happened to the dog, because they did have that wreck into the back of the car. But Nicole Goodman was trying to get away before the jackers jack. Police on the scene, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the end of well, it's near the end of Ice Ice Baby, which he just wrapped at Mar-a-Lago for Trump. You can even see Trump getting down. Trump's from the back with his comb over hair. He's feeling it. He's clapping his hands. Like, damn, I didn't know all these people were into Ice Ice Baby. What is that they sample for Ice Ice Baby? Is it David Bowie's Under Pressure? Is that what song it is? David Bowie went out by the numbers the other year, and then the Stone Temple Pilots singer went out right after him. Or was it right before him? It was around the same time. It was all synced up ritual. They had the 2 albums with the same covers. Dave Bowie had that song about Lazarus who resurrects. You remember all that? But yeah, adding to the ritual, Ice Ice Baby released in history on August 22nd, 1990. And that means it's going to turn 36 later this year. But notice from that day to the shooting, 138 days, like Donald Trump's 138, like Federal's 138. Donald Trump just had him there to perform Ice Ice Baby. Vanilla Ice literally equals Trump. Ice Ice Baby literally equals Minneapolis. Again, if you're new here, this gematria thing, it's elementary. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. It's the reverse alphabetic order. Z is 1 back to A is 26. And it's both orders with numerology applied to each letter. Elementary math. You could teach this to a small child. And then, yeah, I started thinking about just how he's from Dallas, and Dallas does have the connection with Minneapolis because of the hockey team. The North Stars became the Dallas Stars, and that happened at the same time the Somali refugees started to take hold in Minneapolis on the 93rd Meridian. Also, if you go back and watch that music video again, just how all of these rituals are layered. Last night in the NBA, they had to postpone the Miami and Chicago game because the ice was melting under the court because, you know, they have hockey rinks and courts over them. So supposedly some glitch, but an ice issue with all this ice news. And hold on, I believe that game was supposed to be in Chicago last night. And of course, you just had the ice raids in Chicago, and George Floyd was killed on the corner of 38th in Chicago. Yeah, that was supposed to be in Chicago last night. The Bulls record just happens to be like Jordan's birthday right now. 17/2, the 17th day of the second month. Jimmy Butler, one of Jordan's sons. His other one is Anthony Edwards. If you can't see that, you're blind. That those are his children. They look exactly like him. But of course, Jimmy Butler played for the Bulls and the Heat. Now he is on the Warriors. But notice it's like 2/17. It's also like Jordan's birthday. They're always syncing up Chicago sports with Jordan. It's going over all the fans' heads because they're not paying attention. But yeah, Vanilla Ice, man, he was popping in Jordan's heyday. So anyway, isn't it funny how from Vanilla Ice's birthday to the championship in Miami with the Hurricanes in it's exactly 80 days? That's not an accident. And again, last night Miami won by the numbers. Catch us on Patreon if you want the intel before the games. Mario Cristobal, who used to coach the Ducks, he got his 97th win last night. Ole Miss 97 and his 35th win with Miami. Thursday 35. So yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And all throughout the video, he's got on the Miami Hurricanes gear. And keep in mind, this is for you younger people. In that point in history, Miami was the most dominant football team in college football. They were fresh off winning the championship. They beat Alabama January 1st, 1990 to become the champions. This music video comes out later that year. Let me see if the single came out the same day as, hold on. Ice Ice Baby single release date. Let me see, because we saw that. Yeah, I guess it was August 22nd. I'm pretty sure it was my sister's birthday. My sister's in December, where my mom bought her this single for her birthday, and my sister was like all disappointed when she opened it up. Mom, I don't like this song. He wrote Ice Ice Baby in 83. Are you kidding me? What? Hold on. Is that real? 83? I didn't even catch that detail right now. Jonathan Ross, the oh yeah, his name equals 154, like what ICE stands for. We covered that yesterday. But Jonathan's 83, just like Renee Nicole Good is 83. Like Murder is 83. Hold up. This song, what? Is this real? Hold on. I can never trust Wikipedia. Was Ice Ice Baby written in 1983? God, Wikipedia dominates the internet. First thing that comes up is, well, it says right here on it does say there he wrote in 83. Wow. That means he wrote it 43 years ago, come later this year. And they said that guy, Jonathan Ross, is 43 years old. Amazing. Amazing. The jokes are endless. Yeah, it is the Under Pressure sample. Okay. Wow, the plot thickens. And by the way, just without the whole football connection right now, too. Football 83. Okay. So what I noticed when looking into this is earlier this year, this channel, and maybe this is a coincidence or maybe not, but this channel did a parody of and Vanilla Ice. It's on YouTube. Thomas Douglas Homan is 71, like how the date can be written 7-1. Remember Ross, the surname of the killer, has got that 71 and 17, like the date can be written 7-1 or 17. The victim's 37. And Wednesday 37, Ice Agent 37, Shooting 37, Portland Avenue 37. Okay. I got to get that detail in about the song being written in 83. Stop it. I mean, you guys, I've said a million times that if the Illuminati ever recruited me, I would never join them. I'm starting to think twice. I mean, I'm starting to think twice about it. If they did recruit me, I might want to join them. I want to be in on the jokes. I'm tired of exposing the jokes and having humanity look at me like I'm crazy. I want to start writing the jokes. What kind of tools do I get access to for this joke writing? Come on, man. Ice Ice Baby becomes the beat of this psyop. It is amazing. It is amazing. And all the dopes think it's a coincidence. That's why maybe I am ready to sell out. Now, let's get to this dinosaur in the background. I mean, I've never seen it, man. A dinosaur in the front yard? I mean, that is wild. And it just makes you wonder, because I was reading about this online. People say the dinosaur has been there for a very long time. Notice the dinosaur is at the same property with the downwards pointing 5-pointed star, which is a satanic symbol. And of course, the George Floyd thing happened in the 5th month, and it was 5 years ago and change. It's being compared. But notice where Renee Good, a lot of the media is now dropping her middle name and just writing Renee Good. Got Renee Nicole Good to start, but now we're just, most people are tired of typing out all those words. Renee Good's good enough. Notice Renee Good, 52, 38. Like how dinosaur is 38, 52, like Minnesota. And remember, Minnesota hosted Super Bowl 52. Your guys' Christmas game, Minnesota had the nice upset of Detroit. Dan Campbell picked up his 38th loss there. We were all over that. Nice little payout. Detroit was pretty heavy favorite. Same stuff year in and year out. Not to mention Christmas equals 38 too. But Christi Noem, who was really getting down to Ice Ice Baby. Hold on. I don't want to get the copyright, but just so you can see how Christi Noem was getting down here. That was Vanilla Ice on the stage. Stephen Miller, a little stiff, but watch Christi Noem when she's on camera. She's like, "Hey, taking me back to my heyday, back when I was shooting dogs out behind the barn." Anyway, Christi Noem. The whole thing was 38 days after her birthday. And this is all on the back of Nick Shirley, that little stooge, releasing his Minnesota fraud video exactly 38 weeks after his birthday. And I told you that day, I said, remember, that number's connected to death. Next thing you know, now we're talking about death in Minnesota, like George Floyd on the corner of 38th Street. But yeah, Christi Noem, 38 days after her birthday. You can see what's encoded in her name, 52 and 133, just like government, just like Nick Shirley, just like Minnesota. And about that 5-pointed star in the window of the dinosaur, again, just Minneapolis is 55 like Satan. Yesterday, they released the name of the shooter. Yesterday had 55 date numerology, the day that we got the shooter's name. And hold on, let me look up the Ross surname, because there's usually a certain group of people that have that surname. But no, it's not just that group of people. I just had to make sure. Okay. Scottish last name. Okay. Like the Masons. And you know something I didn't realize, but the inverted pentagram became known as a satanic symbol in 68, thanks to Anton LaVey. I didn't realize that was since 68. So that's another thing attributed to 1968. Like this little Vanilla Ice joke. Yeah, I mean, go figure. So we'll have to keep that one in mind. A lot of the most evil things that have happened here in the 21st century all trace back to 68. So I suppose it makes sense. And then, yeah, somebody left a comment that I'm a moron because now there's a video out with proof that she was killed. And I notice, can you guys see up here that their story is 54 seconds because they added on a little bit more in addition to the 47-second clip that was released? But can you see their story is 54 seconds? Because remember, we talked about this. Notice the emphasized phrase up here. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. 54 and 72, like Jesuit order. Again, sun equals 54. It moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Diddy taken down at 54. His father murdered in 72. Don't forget who told you Diddy was going down at 54 a year before he did. Yours truly. But yeah, this happened on 54 date numerology, and it was synced up with the Catholic school shooting there in Minnesota, which was on 54th Street. And we talked about how the head of the Catholic Church there in Minnesota, it happened on the 359th day of his age, which is the 72nd prime, kind of like how the Jesuit suppression ended in history on the 359th day of the Pope's age, who ended it. But the shooter was Robin Westman, which reminds us of Batman. But anyway, Robert Westman, 5472, like Annunciation, like Jesuit order. And from Robin Westman's birthday to the shooting was the 72nd day of their age. Wait a minute. Damn. Hold up. June 17th, is that date standing out to you guys yesterday? I know we all got amnesia, but didn't we just talk about this date yesterday? Wait a minute. Again? Hold on. This is the day the ICE agent was supposedly drugged. So on Robin Westman's birthday of all days was the day that the ICE agent got drugged too? Man, these people are too damn redundant with their ritualism. Yeah. And we were talking about how that's the day leaving 197 days left in the year. And you run it the other way, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement equals 154, like how, here, just so you can see it with your own eyes, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement equals 415 and 154, like how the Minnesota National Guard was created on April 15th, which can be written 415 or 15/4. The ongoing protests in Portland, the 503 area code at the ICE facility, as we get the Portland Avenue shooting, and then a federal agent shooting people in Portland right after. But again, he was drugged on the day leaving 197 days left in the year, and his name, Jonathan Ross, equals 154. I mean, can you say PSYOP? That's why those of you guys who are too dumb to get it, video evidence isn't proof of anything anymore. We live in the age of Hollywood. We live in the age of AI. That's not proof of anything anymore. That's why I went to the lengths to figure out what I did, because this shit is undeniable. This is how they put all their crap together with all their little coded imagery and tributes. And think about it. You don't think they're literally paying tribute to Hollywood and Jurassic Park from 1993, the same year they started to bring the Somali refugees here? I think that's what that's really about, having that dinosaur back there. Because it all goes back to the year of the Somali refugees, the Battle of Mogadishu. For you younger people who don't know, when Jurassic Park came out, it was next level. It was like nothing we'd ever seen. Look at most special effects from the early 90s in movies. They look hokey and dumb. But you go back and you watch Jurassic Park, it looks pretty damn legit still. I don't know how they did it. It was crazy. It was like, again, it was like nothing we'd ever seen before. It was mind-blowing. But by the way, notice how a Honda Pilot, which she drives, is 114, like psychological operation, like Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is also 93 on the 93rd meridian, like Honda alone's 93. And remember what I showed you yesterday. Yesterday, they had the staged courthouse scene with the paid-for protesters on the day leaving 357 days left of the year outside the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building, a man who fought for Native Americans who experienced the tyranny of the federal government, kind of like the people standing up against ICE. And again, what we pointed out yesterday is it was 38 days from his birthday anniversary, this Mr. Whipple, and it was also 114 days from his death anniversary, as we pointed out yesterday. So it fits in with the whole psychological operation and the car. And anyway, coming back, this 47-second clip, or hold on. Yeah, with the headline, "I'm not mad at you." Let me make sure I got everything in here that really mattered. There was a lot to the Annunciation school shooting, and it was synced up with the movie Weapons. Yeah, you can go back and revisit my work on that. There's a lot to it. But here, this is what some of you guys come at me and you say, now here. So I want you to tell me, person, where the proof is in here that anyone died, because we're going to watch the clip. Because somebody said, this is the proof. Hold up. Where did I put it? Here we go. Proof is here. All right, let me rewind it and take it back from the beginning. Somebody said, "You're wrong. There's now proof. There's proof that she was killed. Here, watch this video." Okay, let me watch. All right, so there's the dog in the background. We all know where that fits in with the Karen thing, which was connected to George Floyd. Central Park to the Park Police. 8 minutes and 46 seconds on George Floyd's neck initially. Like, the first plane to hit the tower was at 8:46, like George Floyd equals 119. Remember, it's also 293 weeks from George Floyd's death, the 60-second prime, like Minneapolis equals 62, like Floyd, like Park, like Houston, Texas, where he's from. Look at this gangsta boo. In your Minnesota apparel. All right, here's the proof. There it is. Alpha News. I mean, what are you guys talking about? Where's any proof that anyone died in that video? Stop it. She does look like Miss Piggy, though. And she wanted to dissect pigs. She won the poem in 2020, the year of George Floyd. Okay. Okay. Yeah, talk to me about it. Talk to me about it. Ice baby at Mar-A-Lago, 68 days before Jonathan David Ross ices a lady in icy Minnesota. Okay. Okay. If anybody has anything to add, if anybody's out there who dropped that video and said there's proof she died, I'd love for you to come on and talk to me about it. I got about 1 hour. I got to do a little work in the background, but I'm hoping we got an hour's worth of calls here. I love naysayers. I love the naysayers. Come in and talk to me about it. Why are y'all taken by the psychological operation? Who are these like oohs on YouTube? There's so many oohs that get all these views. I saw some ooh had the oohish mayor on from Minneapolis, and it was like bombshell information, and I got sucked into watching it. One of like 1 million people that watched it, and there was no bombshells in there. Just a bunch of oohish crap. These are some bombshells. That's all we do is over here. It's like a nuclear bomb every time I release a video. This needs 1 million views. Huh? Where's the people at? Where's the big tip bimbo at? I'm sure she's out there watching. Big tip bimbo, you want your MacBook Pro with the M5 chip? Come tell me about all the coincidences going on over here. Come tell me all about it. Somebody from the UK wants to call me through WhatsApp. I'd rather hear from my people in the States. I get too many troll calls from the UK. So, plus the link's dropped if you really want to call in right now. That's not long distance either. You can just hop on the StreamYard. Jesse Ventura. Yeah, and I mean, Trump used to host the WWE events. I'm sure he hosted some events that Jesse Ventura was in. All right. Hey, if we don't have any contributors, anybody that wants to step up to the plate, anyone to share any information, I do got to get back to work on other things. We can just wrap it up right here. So, last chance. I'll run through the headlines real quick, and if we don't have anybody in the back, I'm out of here. And by the way, I see Ice Agent cell phone. I was going to say, because they just said the other day that none of the Ice Agents had their body cams on, and people were trying to say this was body cam footage. So I was like, well, that contradicts what they just reported the other day. But okay, it's an Ice Agent cell phone. Oh, I'm sure that's it. Okay. ExxonMobil CEO tells Trump Venezuela is uninvestable despite Trump's desire to cut a deal to pump more oil. Is it something about the terrain? Is it hard to get the oil out of Venezuela? What's it all about? DC pipe bomb suspect pleads not get. The only people who make pipe bombs are feds. That's why every federal psyop they say, oh, and they found some pipe bombs too. Ottawa senators got trolls spreading rumors. Let's see here. Trump weighs in on Minnesota ice shooting, calls Renee Good a professional troublemaker. Isn't that what Trump is? I feel like that's what Trump is. Trump is a professional polarizer, professional troublemaker. Huh. Look at the 110. Remember how the Minnesota National Guard's 110 years old right now? Minnesota's 110, President's 110. His alter ego, born on the 110th day of the year. They're all 110s. Remember old Adolf supposedly offed himself at age 56, but his body was never found? One of those stories they stick in your history book. You're just expected to believe it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. He offed himself and his body was never found. Sure. Have you guys ever looked into how Adolf, he drew the Disney cartoons before even Disney did? Like Disney, it's like somehow Disney got a hold of his notebook. Don't kid yourself. Are they the same person? Are they related? Wouldn't it be awesome if the magical world of Disney was all Adolf, supposedly the most evil man that ever lived? Talk about next level mockery. And that's what the cabal does. So don't kid yourself. New cell. I mean, this is like the George Floyd cell phone footage too, right? Like I said, the white woman, the Karen choking her dog. They got to get the dog in the back at the start of the video. Like I said, dog in the video to start 2026. I mean, come on, man. Dog's also, yeah, that's right. Dog's also 55, like Minneapolis. Okay. Oh boy. Uh-oh, the BBC's gone to the Greenland is the top story because today Greenland 2, the movie, comes out. Perfect. Greenland 2 Migration in theaters on the same day BBC makes Greenland the top headline. The jokes never end. All right, we got Gabe, and then we got the Dean. What's up, Gabe?
Zach, I don't got really too much on this, but they keep mentioning George Floyd. Did you mention that it was 2,054 days since that George Floyd ritual happened?
2,054 days.
Yeah, just like 9/11 happened on the 254th day in the year.
Okay, yeah, similar. That's true. Yeah, because there were a lot of parallels with George Floyd and.
So yeah, when I was watching, the news, they're like, oh, and the George Floyd incident just happened just a mile away. I'm like, look at this. Just how like Derek Chauvin held his neck at 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Right.
That's all I got to bring up, man. Plus the games
right.
are doing the rituals on it too.
Yeah. Easy or very interesting observation. Appreciate that.
All right, man.
All right, see you, man. All right, we got Nar. What's up, Nar? You got to unmute.
What's up, Goat?
Yeah.
It's just crazy, like all this information you put out, and it all leads back to one road. And I just have a question. I got a couple questions, but it's like, what was the first thing to point you to the Jesuits, right? Because as a young man, when you become conscious to the world, it's like a pipeline where it ends at Israel, and no regular, like, I want to call them conspiracy people, but people that are awake, they only see Israel. What pointed you to the Jesuits? Like, what was that one moment?
Well, Jordan Maxwell, who's one of the most famous people in the truth community, who's died recently, always pointed everything back to Rome and the Catholic Church. And, before I knew about Gematria, I knew about Jordan Maxwell and a lot of people have heard Jordan Maxwell's thing about Lincoln and Kennedy, all the parallels there with that. And again, when I started learning this, I saw how Jesus, cross, Messiah, gospel, parables, English, occult, all those words just had the same gematria value. And I thought, okay, who would purposefully encode it that way? I mean, Jews wouldn't have an interest in doing that because Jesus isn't really that important to Judaism. And then again, you do the research, you see that, the Catholic Church, because I was realizing that the language was synced up with the calendar, and anyone can figure out that the calendar is named after the Pope and goes back to the church. And if you do the research, you'll find out English goes back to a Catholic monk as well, Burford of Ramsey Abbey. So everything went there. That's why when I wrote my first book, it's like somewhere, I think it's on the 29th page in this big ass book where I say at the beginning that all of this clearly goes back to the Catholic Church. And then I was 1,000,000% sure it was the Jesuits in 2020. I mean, that's what this book's about, because 2020, we all know what happened, Cooties 19, and it was simulated by a Jesuit. Every single person in the media pushing the Cooties 19 agenda, from Anthony Fauci to Gavin Newsom to Andrew Cuomo to Donald Trump to you name it, they were all Jesuit educated. And that's when I realized I had all these pieces about 201, because like I have 30-some thousand blog posts. But once they did Event 201, that's when I realized, like, wait a minute, the 201 goes with the Jesuits and the Pope and the Jesuit history. I was like, God, this is what it's all about. So, it was looking at all that. And again, my first book came out in 2017, 3 years before that happened, but I was already looking that way. But then 2020 just cemented it that, yeah, it's the Jesuits that are controlling this world. And then I started to look more into things. I was like, well, look at that, man. If you go back in history, who was it that was the head of the medical world that decided we were going to go the radiation treatment route for cancer? Oh, that was a Jesuit. Just looking through history, you see these people have had a hand in pretty much everything that shaped the world the way we know it to be. You start looking at things. The Super Bowl, the biggest sport event in the U.S., they're playing for the Lombardi Trophy. Lombardi was a Jesuit who died unexpectedly at Jesuit Georgetown. So they're everywhere once you realize it. And that's why it's laughable when everyone's blaming everything on Jews. It's like, listen, here in the United States, are they playing for some Jews trophy? No, they're not. And again, when Netanyahu comes to town, are they shutting down the world and everything just freezes for Netanyahu? No, it's usually like a headline 10 pages down. But when the Pope comes to America, well, now we have an American Pope, so it's a little bit different. But before, anytime the Pope came to the country, that's all that mattered. So, yeah. Again, that's it.
And that's what made me like completely, because once you had put the information out there about the calendar and the language, that automatically is flipped the switch, because it's like we're actually living in their paradigm.
Right.
Even with I don't like getting into the earth debate because no one actually knows, but the worship of the sun, right? And all of this, it's like it's all Jesuit. At the end of the day, too,
because whatever you think, what is true is in the 16th century, that's when the heliocentric model was agreed to, which just happens to equal 201, this number venerated by the Jesuits. And again, it does come from Hebrew, the meaning of 201, because what it represents is illumination, just like how the Illuminati, which was called Order of Illuminati and founded by a Jesuit, equals 201. Again, the thing that illuminates the world is the sun, which the Catholic Church worships. So...
yeah, and it's just ridiculous, because everyone is just on the Jews, because that is the pipeline they push. And then you hear about the history of them being kicked out. It's automatically like these guys are like a scapegoat. They're still involved, but they're like a scapegoat every time.
It's a smart scapegoat. It's a smart plan to have them as a scapegoat, because it's not to say that all Jewish people are bad, but a lot of us who've known people, they can be very annoying. Yeah. They have annoying personality types. They're kind of assholes. They tend to be selfish and greedy. They're the Grinch a lot of the times. So it's easy to scapegoat them because they're very unlikable for a lot of valid reasons. And don't forget that they hooked up with the Catholics in the time of the Protestant Reformation, because Martin Luther wanted to send them all into the ocean. He wanted to get rid of all the Catholics and the Jews because he said they ruined society. And was he wrong? That's up for debate.
Yeah, it's literally collusion. It's like all Jews aren't Jesuits, but a lot of them are. So it's like an overlap most of the time. And one last thing I wanted to mention, like, have you ever like heard of the Odd Fellows?
The Odd Fellows are important too, because, for example, the Odd Fellows were 201 years old when Cooties 19 was going down, and that whole shop area in Seattle that was the national focus, the autonomous zone, where all that crazy stuff was happening. Everybody was climbing all over the Odd Fellows building, the 201-year-old Odd Fellows building. I was like, look at this shit. I was pointing that out at the time. I was like, this is how you can tell all of this stuff is connected.
Yeah, because so my little brother, my mother recently moved him to a Catholic school, right? And I went to go pick him up one day, and literally across from the Catholic, because it's in like a church, across from the road is literally an Odd Fellows building. I was like, wow, look at this. And the thing with this world is, and this paradigm is, they communicate with symbols. So if you don't know the symbols, you literally just walk past it. But me being conscious and knowing that symbol, I was like, look at this. It's literally right here. These secret societies are right in front of our faces, but people are numb to them. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like you try to wake people up, and it's, I don't understand. It's a lot. It's something going on, and it is magic at the end of the day. Even
Don't forget the word magic
shapes.
has a gematria value of 33, and they're just putting that number in front of you all the time. And seemingly, somehow, almost everybody just seems to look past it like it doesn't mean anything, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I've been going into frequencies and shapes and all of that, and it's just like especially the cube, which they worship, right? The cube is not like a natural occurring shape, so it's kind of artificial in nature, and they all worship the cube. The cube is everywhere. Everything is a cube. So, man, I don't know. I just appreciate your information. Appreciate you for trying to do the best you can, but I don't know. We're here to support you, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, Nar. Yeah, great observations, great questions. And that Oddfellows Society does deserve more research, because I noticed the 201 thing when after the event 201 cootie simulation, how it was all connected. I said, look at that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have a good one. Keep
Right.
going, boss.
You too. Thanks, Nar. All right, we got another G up. What's up, Gematria 32? 3 G's in a row.
You heard about that football player that died at 67? It was a Colts player today, they announced.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, at 6'7".
Yeah.
Human
Blood
virtual
sacrifice, human sacrifice, and now the big 6'7" mean Randy McMillan, former NFL running back, dead unexpectedly at 67.
Yeah, I didn't measure from his birthday or anything, but I seen the 67. I was like, another human sacrifice.
Yeah. Blood. Yeah, we see it all the time, man. That's why it's crazy this year being just the 6'7" meme and all the media acting like it doesn't mean anything when it's so obvious what it means.
Also, I read an article that Mondani, he's dealing with his first police shooting over here in New York, right?
Okay.
You follow? And it's interesting because it happened 82 days after his birthday, and his name, his full name, Mondani, whatever his full name is, his 3-part name equals 82.
So say it again, how that all came together?
Well, Mondani's birthday is October 18th. So from October 18th to yesterday, when the shooting was last night, was 82 days. And his name, Zohan Kawain Mondani, equals 82 in the place.
I see. Yeah.
So what a coincidence. Yeah. What a coincidence. His full name equals 82, and 82 days later, he gets his first police shooting. So.
Yeah. It's sad how they do it, man. By the numbers all day, every day.
I read online on, I typed in, was Maduro elected? It says yes. You follow, Zach? I typed in, was Maduro elected? It says yes. Some people are saying he wasn't elected.
Well, they're saying that he stole the election, that he lost, but said he won anyway. It's like, well, what's the difference? What country doesn't have rigged elections?
Exactly. Like, you think America's election is official?
That's how dumb people are. How could you possibly think our elections are legit? Everyone should have woke up in 2000. What could have been less legit than 2000? If you think any election's legit in America, you're dumb. Point blank, period.
Yeah, I don't get it. And honestly, I don't fuck with nobody that's not on the Patreon and hasn't read your book. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care about you. If you haven't read Zach's books or you're not on the Patreon, don't at me. Zach, you're a genius. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Appreciate Gematria 32. This poor guy, his full name 118 like death. But yeah, it's just the 6'7" thing, you guys. I mean, we talked about it a gazillion times. He dies unexpectedly at 67. Blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, 67. And he played for the Baltimore Colts and the Indianapolis Colts. And remember who died unexpectedly as well, right before the tip-off of the Eastern Conference Finals? Jim Irsay, the owner of the team who moved the team to Indiana. And by the way, yeah, that is interesting that he's dead right before the college football playoff game. This is the news because, of course, Indiana's playing Oregon tonight. But yeah, Jim Irsay, the owner, died 106 days before the 106th NFL season began. There could be more to that I'm overlooking. Ooh. All right. Run Your Pocket says, shake them haters off. Let's leave the negativity in 2025. Wish you and the family the best this year. More blessings, more life. Well, we need to shake some haters off and get some people following this work, man, because this censorship has really slowed the movement to a snail's pace, which just isn't acceptable at the rate things are moving against us. All right. I don't see anybody else in the back. I got other work to do, so I think that's it for now. But yeah, BBC. Got to let you know about Greenland on the day the new Greenland Hollywood movie comes out. Thin line between Hollywood and what's in the news. That's why all the predictive programming. Hollywood's always ahead of the program. How much predictive programming was there for 9/11? Decades worth. That's what's crazy. And by the way, that's the thing too. We've always talked about the link with Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Twin Cities, and how there seems to be a lot of ritualism with the Twin Cities and New York, where the Twin Towers once stood. One of many examples was just what happened with, again, the racist white Karen in Central Park in New York, the day that George Floyd was supposedly killed, but we heard about that story all day. And then the next day, the George Floyd news broke because the cell phone video came out. That's how they broke the news. But that was a New York, Minneapolis thing. And think about how there's like this Muslim Somali fraud thing going on right after you get the first Muslim mayor in New York. I know there's something up with that. I know that's not an accident. The Twin Cities and the place where the Twin Towers once stood. And remember, this whole thing with Mom Donnie's a joke. He won the primary at age 33 on Freemasonry's birthday, June 24th. And again, it's 24 years since 9/11 happened, like Muslims 24. And the word Islam's 54. And he announced he was running in 2024, exactly 54 weeks before he won the election, exactly 54 weeks on the nose. And the election was 54 days after September 11th. And that's the other thing. Again, he won the election on November 4th, like there's 114 surahs in the Quran. Oh, yeah, that probably goes with this too, because this Muslim thing, I wrote Minneapolis Muslim. Minneapolis, Minnesota, I guess it is all M's like Muslim, but Minneapolis, Minnesota's 114, like 114 surahs in the Quran. November 4th election for Mom Donnie. November 4th election for Obama. And then again, I'm not saying Islam is satanic, but what I'm saying is the satanic cabal is the one that's putting all the rituals together. Remember, Luke 10:18. Luke 10:18. I'll read from the non-Shakespeare version. He replied, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. What? That's 10:18 is Mom Donnie's birthday. He's got the October 18th birthday, if you didn't know that. Mom Donnie, date of birth, 10:18, right? So has this connection to Satan. And remember, what does the name Barak mean? The name Barak. It means blessed. That's one thing it means. And in Hebrew, it means lightning. Lightning. So it has this lightning connection. And remember, it was Obama who told the joke on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday, April 30th, 2011, with Trump in attendance at the White House Correspondents' Center that day, 45 days before Trump's birthday, that Trump would become number 45. And then we saw how Mom Donnie and Trump were like old buddies when they got together after all the tough rhetoric, because it's all just political theater. There was a lot of lightning stuff with Obama. A couple, God, I forget how it all was. Wasn't a couple from Wisconsin killed on his birthday by lightning? Hold on. Wisconsin couple struck by lightning in D.C. God, all this stuff was years ago now. But Wisconsin equals 44 and 55 like lightning does. Okay, the first story published the day after Obama's birthday. They were on a trip to D.C. to celebrate their 56th wedding anniversary. This is kind of stuff that I just laugh at. It's like, oh, really? They're 56th, huh? In Washington, D.C., 56, like Church of Satan. Like Society of Jesus. Remember Anton LaVey? He has the Society of Jesus fingerprints all over his death. But Jim and Donna Mueller, God, what day was it? All right, hold on. What day were Jim and Donna Mueller struck by lightning? Was it on his birthday or was it the day after? It was a Thursday. Okay. Well, Thursday's interesting because Thursday has that 35 gematria like Satan. But hold on, let's see. Let's see if August 4th that year was a Thursday. Obama's birthday is August 4th. And again, Obama, when he won election the first time, was November 4th, like 114 Saras, like he has an Islamic name. Hold up, what year was that? Was it 2022? 2022. It was on Obama's birthday, Thursday, August 4th, 2022. So and there was other stuff with lightning in the White House and Obama. I forget now. It's too many years ago. I got amnesia also. Lightning, White House, Obama. But yeah, that's just how you can see that there's some seriously wicked stuff going, or at least wicked jokes. I mean, they could have just made up the whole story too. Yeah, lightning kills Wisconsin couple near White House on Barack Obama's 61st birthday. Obama was born in 61. And look at it. They were there to celebrate their 56th wedding anniversary, and they get killed on his 61st birthday. Washington, D.C., 56 and 61. In 2025, people are trying to denounce this work. Special kind of stupid. So yeah, the point I'm making is just, Mom Donnie, Obama, all these things are definitely connected. And like I've always said, first they numbered the Bible. Then they gave us the calendar. Then they standardized the English alphabet, and they've synced all this stuff up as a system. And we get the headlines day after day by the numbers as a result. But yeah. Maybe we can get this video up past 5K views. If you guys hit a few likes, shares, leave a few comments. If we can get 5,000, compared to all the trash out there from the promoted ooze and other propagandists on the tube who've gotten over 1 million views, at least we're getting a tiny fraction of what they're getting. That's why I just think, like, God, I mean, like, how are we ever going to win? I mean, there's just no platform for the individual to get out. Just everything is controlled. Everything is controlled. Propaganda overload, truth buried. All right, but thanks again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. If you want that NFL playoff intel, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern on the Patreon. And until next time.